This is an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File program with Peter Anthony Holder.
Robert Cesario recently retired from the Cook County Sheriff's Office, where he was a cop for about 40 years. He has his own band, and he is the lead singer and drummer. He's led a most interesting life, which allowed him to cross paths with many famous people such as Wayne Newton, Dick Clark, the Shirelles, and more. He has also been an actor and done various roles as an extra with the likes of John Candy, Patrick Swayze, Robert De Niro, and Harrison Ford, just to name a few. But there are even more interesting aspects to him, which we will delve into now. Robert joins us on the line right now from Las Vegas. Hi, Robert.
How you doing, Pete? How's everything?
Things just tickety-boo, sir. Thanks very much for being on the program with us. As I mentioned, you were a police officer for 40 years, so it leads me to believe that you're one who is inquisitive and follows through on clues and does all that kind of legwork that police officers are known for. Yet there was a story in your own family that remained a mystery for quite some time. Share that with us.
Oh, yes. Yes, that was it's an amazing story. My dad was a musician and a singer and a drummer, and he was at an Irv Kupcinet Christmas show doing a benefit, and there was some the guys in the band, and it was the end of the night, and they're tearing down the equipment as musicians always do, and the guys in the band were putting them on, saying there was a girl back there who wants to meet you. And she was in the kitchen doing dishes at the time, and she had done benefits. She was a singer also. She went by the name of Mickey Saunders. And he went back there, and he said, "Did you want to meet me?" And my mother, who happened to be, I didn't know at the time, she said, "No, I don't want to meet you." And he was put on by the guys in the band. So anyway, he came out and he asked her, "Would you mind, being affectionate to me while I come out and putting the guys on in the band?" And she came out and laid a big kiss on him. And the guys in the band were like, "Man, what did we do?" Anyway, that's the story of how I was produced later on. They started dating, and I didn't know about the whole situation as far as my mother, because my mother gave me to my grandparents on my dad's side as an adopting child. So I was adopted by my grandparents on my dad's side, and I never met my mother. And it winds up that I put the story in Facebook, the whole story like I just told you, and it winds up that a sister got a hold of me and said, "That's my mother." This is 63 years later. So I wind up having a sister and a brothers and a whole new family.
Have you had the chance to meet them in person?
Yes. We spend every week together now.
And when you first met...
At least once a week.
When you first met them, or at least the first couple of times that you were with them, did you find similarities, not just maybe in looks, but in either personality or mannerisms that you could say, yeah, that's definitely a sibling of mine?
Oh, well, yes. I mean, in looks, it's definitely. It's like we look alike, and mannerisms also, but it's just amazing that I never knew that. And it winds up that my sister lives a mile from where I'm living.
Wow. So
we could have crossed paths and not even know it.
Now, as I mentioned,
it's just amazing.
As I mentioned, you're a retired police officer, Cook County Sheriff's Office in Illinois. You were there for 40 years. Certainly a high-profile job. When you finally met your siblings, did they realize, wait a minute, I've seen you in the paper before or on television?
Yeah, that's the thing. They saw me, and we've crossed paths who knows how many times because she lives so close. We shop at the same shops. I go by her house every day going to work and never knew it. And that alone is amazing that we never met until then.
Now,
I put this article in there.
Is your mother still with us, or has she passed away?
No, she passed away at 61, and my dad passed away at '69, and he was in fact, Hefner just passed away. My dad produced all of Hugh Hefner's girlfriends, Barbie Benton's, Shannon Tweed, Sandra Theodore, all the Playmates. He had a group called the Singing Playmates, and George Burns would also include himself with the girls and do Las Vegas shows. And my dad opened up Caesar's Palace in 1966.
So is that where you also get your musical background from your dad? You mentioned your dad was also a drummer as well, right?
Right. And my mother was a singer and a dancer.
Oh, so it's in your blood.
Exactly.
So with that kind of background, how did you end up being a cop for 40 years?
Well, you know what? I saw the struggling effect of the industry. You know, how it's either feast or famine. That's how music business is. And I decided, hey, I'm not going to live like that. I want a pension, you know. And I decided to go into law enforcement because I've always been a law enforcement guy, you know, straight-laced, and I did that all my life. And I've handled I'm John Gacy, and I was transportation officer, and so I transport a lot of different prisoners.
Mm. So now that you've had this story out, the fact that you found your family on Facebook and the word is getting out there, are you hearing from groups or organizations, adopted groups and whatnot, who are interested in your story because it may be close to home to theirs?
No, I haven't. No one seems interested in it. As far as I think there's so much going on in this world nowadays that my little story is probably insignificant compared to what's going on with our society now.
Yet people have written about your story. I mean, that's one of the ways I found out about it. So
right.
There is a bit of notoriety to the interesting story about how you met your family. By the way, was there any apprehension on your part? Was it when you found out that you had siblings, did you want to meet them right away, or was there any hesitation on your part to wanting to meet them?
No, not at all. I wanted to meet them right away. Of course, I was nervous. You know, I was first time meeting my sister, which is the first one I met, who lived a mile away from me. I was apprehensive, nervous.
What do you think the source of your nerves were? What were you worried about? That either you wouldn't like them or they wouldn't like you? What was going through your mind at the time?
It was either what are they like? What kind of personalities are they? And are they friendly spirits? Or and it wound up where I'm totally overjoyed. My sister Annie is a wonderful, wonderful girl that I love dearly. It was an automatic love. That's the thing. It's like that when you first see each other, that this is your sister and that you love her very much. And we say, I love you all the time. And we've only been together for a couple of months.
Wow. Now, I
can't help but say I love you.
You live in the Chicago area. I mentioned that you're in Vegas right now. I also mentioned you have your own band. You're the lead singer and drummer. Are you performing in Vegas?
No, I'm not. But tonight I'm going to go see a buddy of mine who is performing. He's Rick Vitalo, a very dear friend of my dad's, and his father used to play with my father, and I'll probably get up and jam or do something, and it'll be a lot of fun. Now
that you're retired from the police force, are you gigging more than you were before?
I'm trying. I'm really trying, but the music business nowadays is unbelievably slow. It seems like all the bar places and all the, everybody wants seats, asses in the seats, as they say. That you've got to bring a huge following, and that'll get you gigs really easy. If you don't have a huge following, you're not gonna get as many gigs as you can. And it's all about the bar. The bar scene is all about people,
right?
And then they want more money, and the bartender and the owners demanding more money. The agents, they want guarantees. Well, how can you guarantee if people are going to come out or not?
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on finding your long lost family. Are you a man who was married with kids himself?
Yes, I have one son. He's wonderful. He's he likes to fight MMA.
So you have a son who suddenly has new aunts and uncles all of a sudden, right?
Exactly, right. And I'm trying to get him used to that idea. But he's a good guy, and he'll accept it.
Well, congratulations on finding your new family. It's a fascinating story. I thank you for taking the time to talk with us and share a bit of it.
Oh, thank you very much for calling, Pete. It was very, very nice of you to do that.
Robert Cesario, a.k.a. the Singing Sheriff, and the fascinating story of him finding his long-lost family. You can go to my website at thestufffile.com, check out the show number for this show, which is show number 0424, and you'll find links to Robert's site.
You've just heard an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File program with Peter Anthony Holder. To hear any or all of the full hour-long shows, visit thestufffile.com. Stuff is spelled S-T-U-P-H. That's thestufffile.com. A presentation of Flying Fish Communications.